With the debate about net zero and the backlash against renewables in regional areas, and now beef exports and imports in the political bullring, Parliament has been a wild rodeo this week. And when you put it all together, you end up with just a dash of mad cow disease.
When people say they're from the country, get it right. Steers don't fight. We castrate them so they don't, right? Steers have their testicles removed and they sit happily in the paddock and eat grass, getting as fat as possible so I can jam them on a truck and get paid money. Bulls, woo, bulls fight, right? And, you know, you try and stay away from the bulls.
You gotta love him, don't you? I'll have more on the two old Nationals bulls and their net zero push in a moment. But the wrangling today has been all about beef imports and exports, and Anthony Albanese's troubles getting any face time with Donald Trump, while the US president maintains trade tariffs against us. When Trump slapped costly tariffs on Australia earlier this year, it was a cruel way to treat a friend and ally, especially one with a free trade agreement. Although you might say it probably helped Albanese win the election. Anyway, at the time, the president made one of his beefs very clear.
Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion of Australian beef from them just last year alone. They won't take any of our beef. They don't want it because they don't want it to affect their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them, but we're doing the same thing right now, starting about midnight tonight.
Now, Australia's ban on US imports is kind of complicated. It's all about mad cow disease and keeping it out of this country. And we've actually been fine with US beef for years, but the American exporters need to convince our biosecurity agencies that there are no Mexican or Canadian cattle in their mix. That made it all a bit too hard for those exporters, but as of this morning, Australia has announced all those problems can be solved, and US beef will start flowing into this country by the end of the month.
There is no risks to the Australian beef or cattle industry. Those tests have been done. As I say, it's been a 10-year process.
We talk about things like 99.9% safe. That means that every 1,000 animals that come in, one animal is unsafe. We can't take that risk here in Australia.
The timing is exquisite, Kieran. Absolutely exquisite for this ongoing process to just arrive with the science protocol to lift the ban just in time to meet President Trump's demands.
Look, this should be good news for all involved. Back when the trade and tariff issues blew up, Albanese should have told the Americans straight away that we would review the quarantine restrictions and get on with it. Clearly, Trump's heavy-handed and radical moves are all about extracting trade concessions and progress. And while it's a sometimes crazy way to operate, you've got to deal with it and offer the man something. It seems that's what's happened here, even though the government denies it. It should prove something of a breakthrough with the Trump relationship, no doubt. And the risks to our industry have to be incredibly small, given we're talking about meat products produced and sold in the world's largest market. And also given we're typically a beef exporter rather than importer. If you look around the world at the moment, you might decide that mad cow disease is perhaps less of a threat than mad politicians' disease.